Hello, I'm Gil and this is Maverick Gil, the channel of cruise travel and adventure. And in just a moment, I'm going to take you through the key differences between Arvia and Iona, the battle of the big beast, the biggest ships in the UK. And I've sailed on both of them this year. And here I'm going to tell you what I think are the key differences between the two ships, because I get this question all the time. Just before I do that, thank you to all of my subscribers, nearly 800 of you now. Thank you for all of my viewers as well who are regular to the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet and you like what you see, just click the button. It's easy, it's free, and I always appreciate that. In just a couple of weeks, I'm heading off on the MSC Virtuosa, and I'll be coming live from the ship every day on the TikTok channel at the Maverick Gil, and here at Maverick Gil on YouTube with my longer videos, reviews and tips and lots of news as well. And later in the year I'm on the Disney Fantasy Transatlantic and the Sky Princess in the Caribbean, and much more besides. So anyway, let's get on with it. What are the key differences between these two mega ships in the UK? Let's start with the food. For complimentary dining, the Iona has 4 main dining rooms, whereas the Arvia only has 2. The Iona also has the Olive Grove, and Olive Grove on the Iona does pizza, fantastic pizza as well, it has to be said. However, on the Arvia, as well as having the Olive Grove as an additional dining area complimentary, they do also have the 6th Street Diner, an American themed diner, which is a favourite of our family, I have to say, and they don't have this on the Iona. In terms of the other casual dining, they both have a Horizon buffet, which is of course very similar, and they both have the Keys buffet on the Promenade, which has the kind of Asian fusion. It has the hook, line and sinker fish and chip. But here's where one of the key differences is, because the Arvia has roast, which is essentially large Yorkshire puddings with a roast dinner inside, which you can have every day during the day and into the evening on the Arvia. So it's slightly different there, and we are a big fan of those roast dinners as well down in the Keys buffet. So another key difference between the two propositions. And the third one is the additional dining. So both ships have the Epicurean up at the top of the ship, they have the Keeland Cow, they have Sindhu and Glasshouse, some of real favourites with P&O regulars. But here is one again where one of the key differences is, because the Arvia has Green & Company Mizuana, which is a massive favourite of mine, and I think probably the best additional dining offering on P&O and one of the best out there at sea. It's fabulous. If you check out my video on the Arvia recently, you'll see I spend quite a bit of time in Green & Company. Beautiful food, really good service, and all at about between £10 and £15 for a 3-course meal as an additional fee as well. So another key difference is Green & Company. So here we go, a quick summary on the 3 propositions between the additional dining, the main dining offering, and the casual dining offering as well. And there's where I think are the similarities. So who do I think wins on the food offering? It is very similar, but because of those reasons, I am going to go for the Arvia. I think the Arvia wins it on the food proposition, but only just. In terms of entertainment, they both have a very similar offering. They both have a headliners theatre. I did feel on the Arvia we didn't get quite as many shows as we did on the Iona for some reason this time, but they both had that. There's pretty much the same shows, the digital Sky's the Limit. They both have the Take That show now, which they didn't previously. So very, very similar. They both have the Limelight Club, and they both have shows up in the Sky Dome as well. I think the Iona was kind of focused more on acrobatic there. On the Arvia we did have the drone show, which was quite spectacular, but pretty similar, and of course the usual bingo and all that kind of thing going on around the ship. So with regard to entertainment, I would say pretty equal on that score. Now, structurally, these ships are almost identical. Arvia is slightly heavier, but they both have 19 decks. They're XL class ships built out of Germany, and they hold as a standard capacity 5,200, and at a full capacity they are massive 6,264 if they fill every bed And then they've got another 1,800 crew on top of that. So these truly are mega ships. Yes, the icon of the seas may be way out there in the distance, but these are still very, very large ships indeed. Now, in terms of activities and facilities on the ship, this is where the Arvia really kind of separates and differentiates itself. There are some key differences here. So, whilst the Iona has a significantly larger sports deck, which is great if you have a young teen like I do who loves football, and the Arvia is quite a small one, quite piddly in fact. There is a big difference there. But the Arvia has the mini golf, it has a high ropes course, both of which the Iona does not have. It also has a 3-screen cinema. The Iona does have a 4-screen cinema, so I guess that it beats it by one. But it also has an escape room on the Arvia as well. So there's quite a few key differences there. And certainly our kids really enjoyed the high ropes and the mini golf up at the top of the ship. So in terms of those additional facilities on the ship, I'd say the Arvia probably just edges that one for me. There are some key differences there to think about, particularly if you've got kids. Now, structurally, whilst both these ships are incredibly similar, almost identical ships, there is one key difference for me. Now, the Arvia was made for warmer climes, and the Iona is built to go up to the fjords and back to slightly colder climes, although of course it does now go across to the Caribbean as well. The Arvia, importantly though, has the retractable sky dome roof, so if you are going to warmer climes, that's a real benefit, that you can actually take that roof off or put it back on if it gets a little bit colder. So that's a slight winner for the Arvia there. So on the sky dome roof being retractable, that is a net win for the Arvia on that one for me. Now, in terms of service, having been on both these ships recently, I can tell you that we found the service to be fine on both of the ships overall. However, there was a real winner for me in the experience that we had, and that had to be the Iona. For some reason, on the Iona, wherever we were on deck, they were coming and taking drinks orders off us. They were quick, friendly and efficient, and just did that a little bit more than we got on the Arvia. The Arvia was fine, don't get me wrong, but if you had to pick a winner, it would be the Iona for that, which is interesting, as they're two very, very similar ships. The one thing I would point to on the Arvia, it did seem that they were understaffed. So things like the celebration night, this really stood out when people were leaving before they got their dessert, because it was taking so long. A couple of hours before you even got to your dessert, and they were dragging in staff from all over the ship. So it did seem as though the main issue they had was not the staff themselves, who were absolutely fine, it was just they didn't quite have enough. So the winner on that one has got to be, for me, on our experience, the Iona. Just a few other things to point out, just a few other key differences on, again, what are very, very similar ships and offerings. The Arvia does have an open air cinema because of that retractable roof, and they've got this big screen, and they do put movies on there similar to what you get when you go on Princess for the Movies Under the Stars experience. We enjoyed that. There's also a swim-up bar on the Arvia, and a slightly expanded spa offering with VI couples suites. There's a couple of those as well, so that's slightly expanded as well. Overall, I think you do get the impression, obviously, I think the Iona came first, and then the Arvia. With the Arvia, they did add a few things and improve a few things as well. So it's they're a little bit different because of that. So who's the winner? They're the key differences. I enjoyed both ships. It's a real difficult one for me. For some reason, I think if you ask my teenagers, they would say the Arvia probably be the best for them. There was a little bit more on the Arvia for them to do, and everything else was fairly similar. And I do love Green and Company, but the Iona experience, I don't know if the itinerary down to the Canary Islands helped, because it's one of my favourite ones, and the atmosphere and the service and everything else was fantastic. So if I had to pick one out of these two ships, it would be really difficult. I'd probably go for the Iona, but I enjoyed both. But hopefully I've just given you an idea of some of the key differences on these two behemoths of ships. They are huge, and generally I would prefer probably a Ventura type size, maybe even smaller than that. It's my maximum. But I have enjoyed these two ships. One of the benefits you get with those bigger ships is more facilities, a little bit more to do on the on-ship experience. So if you're heading on on one of these ships in the near future, guys, or thinking of booking one, they're great ships. You'll have a great time. I'm sure. We've been on the Arvia twice now, and Iona once. Enjoyed all 3 of those cruises, and I'll definitely be going on them again. But not in the near future, because in the near future I'm off on the Sky Princess, the MSC Virtuosa in a couple of weeks, and the Disney Fantasy, and the P&O Britannia as well. So I'm really looking forward to covering all those on the channel. If you've got any questions, let me know, please, in the chat. Which of these 2 ships, if you've been on them, which one do you prefer? Which one are you thinking of booking? If you've got any questions, let me know. I'm Gil, and it's been great talking with you. I'll see you on the next one, and take care, everybody.